It all starts now.
Hey gang, this is Nick Z. Welcome to Rock Talk, episode 3. I got a special guest today from the Beaver County Times Online, longtime editor, entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times, something in the neighborhood of 23 plus years. Please welcome Mr. Scott Tady. How you doing, Scott?
Nick, good to see you, buddy.
Same
Enjoying
here.
your show. I saw the first one you did with the guitarists and the Standells, and that was very entertaining.
Oh, right on, man. Thanks. Yeah, it was fun. He was a blast, and I'm enjoying doing it. I have Joe Grishecki coming up pretty soon, too.
Oh, he's a good interview, too.
Yeah, I can't
about the days when they were going to Cleveland in a hatchback with like 6 guys driving up to the Agora or whatever to do a show and driving back to Pittsburgh the next day because they still had to work. 6 guys in a Chevy Chevelle or something. I don't know how they did it.
That's earning your keeps there, man. I think I did a song about that, right?
I probably did.
Yeah. So tell me, we always start off with the show, starting off in your early days. Now, obviously, you're entertainment editor. Music is your passion. And so tell me about where'd you grow up, and at what point did you discover, man, I really dig rock and roll and I want it to be part of me, you know?
Grew up in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, and we were a newspaper family. Every day we get a morning paper. Remember there used to be 2 papers a day, the morning one and the evening one?
Sure.
And I was a big baseball fan. I'd always read the box scores. But then all of a sudden I started seeing concert reviews. And the guys were talking about what happened at that concert last night. And I was like, whoa, wouldn't it be awesome to do that for a living where somebody pays you to go to concerts and write about it? And that just became, I zeroed in on that. That was going to be my goal, my job, my dream. And so, I joined the high school newspaper. My first byline was an Aerosmith concert review, Nick.
Yeah.
My college newspaper, one of my first college articles was an Aerosmith concert review. When I joined the Beaver County Times, try to guess what band was one of the first ones I wrote about. And I've worked my way up. I've interviewed from Brad Whitford to Joey Kramer to Tom Hamilton. I finally got Joe Perry. The Holy Grail was Steven Tyler. I never thought I'd get him. But when American Idol was in Pittsburgh, we got to go to a press conference. I got to ask Steven Tyler a question. So my work is done almost.
You found him. Yeah. Wow. You did the entire circuit with those guys, huh? I was probably at that
about them or me, but we've both been around 50 years, I guess.
Yeah. I was probably at that first concert you reviewed. We've all been to several Aerosmith concerts over the years.
That was the one without Joe Perry, and it was maybe the worst show I've ever seen. People ask what's the worst show, and it was only like the 3rd one I ever saw, but Tyler was forgetting the lyrics, and it was just a sloppy mess. That was the height of the cocaine days.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know, it wasn't pretty. Pat Travers opened up, though. Pat Travers tore the place down.
Yeah. Now, what's being from Pittsburgh, obviously, when did you start going to the local scene? Is there a club or local club or band that you recall most from that era?
I was a little too young. I missed the decade, and I hear people like you talking the stories of the decade. I'm like, oh, I would have loved that. Graffiti was the closest one for me. It had that inner city feel. You knew you were somewhere cool and hipster and special, and started seeing bands there like the Reverend Horton Heat and on the edge, edgy kind of bands. But then I just went everywhere. If I had a chance to go to South Park to see an outdoor show, if I had a chance to go to the old Civic Arena, I try to go everywhere. I drive out to the Greensburg or the Palace. Any chance to see any band, and that's one of the things I love to do now. There's probably a circuit of maybe 15 venues I get to go to, and I don't know which one I like the best. People ask me. Depends on the show. Depends on the mood.
I think nowadays, as opposed to say when we were younger, that the opportunities for people the live entertainment opportunities are pretty phenomenal. Like like the Green. What's the Acres? What's the park? The 2 parks? Heartwood Acres.
South Park. Yeah, free shows. Love the free show.
High quality entertainment too, and they get local bands. I know DZ books the shows. A couple of those venues, right?
Joe from the Gathering Field. Yeah, he was a great rocker back in the day. Still is, and knows what it takes to put on a good show. And good eye. Yeah, he's one of those people that knows. In fact, they're televising those shows now because we're in COVID-19. You can't have a big outdoor show with 3,000 people. They've been televising them every Sunday on the CW network. Like last week, I watched a band called Funky Fly Project. 3 kids, maybe 18, 20 years old, just wailing on jazz. An awesome band. And there are ways to still get that live music fix. They're finding ways. You just got to be creative, it seems like.
Now you were on your article and also on your Facebook page and your Times Online last week or so. You were discussing which venue was it that you went to and saw the bands in the parking lot that were socially distancing?
You'll remember this from the day of Hollywood Gardens in Rochester. It was just a little dive bar back in the day. They've really the new owner, the son of the original, just really added some upscale beer and everything. But there are shows right across the street in the parking lot. I'm going there tomorrow night. There's a band called the Goodfoots. They're a 9-piece jazz band. They're supposed to be good. They had a band called Super Midnight, a bunch of young kids who play kind of a funky soul kind of thing.
Right.
The parking lot, it's a former car dealership. There's a scene building. It's kind of a DIY in a way, but I mean, it just feels so good to be standing somewhere hearing live music again.
Yeah, I remember seeing people in your photographs sitting there with chairs, all separated and stuff. So grabbing beverages, having a fun time, and that's really important. I think you'll be surprised, like you're saying, the scene is happening. Every type of situation that happens, there's always a reaction to better what's going on, right? So it sounds like that's what's happening there.
I know you were going to be doing a show. The 4019s for Beaver County. We're really looking forward to that. That venue called Beaver Station, an old train station. They're going to have a show next Friday. It's the same thing. It's outdoor show. I'm encouraged by that because everyone keeps asking, when is it going to go back to normal? And nobody knows.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a chance for the smaller bands, the harder working, the ones on the way up to kind of get a foot in the door right now. And maybe it's our duty. I think it's our duty to support them and go out and, hey, these people are trying.
And also, like you were saying, that the Beaver Station, I really enjoy what they're doing there. That's very avant-garde. We're going to be back in March, hopefully, if things all work out with the COVID thing. And we're really looking forward to September. But they're very wonderful. And I think anyone that goes there that hasn't been there, at least what I've seen, it looks like a heck of a fun time. And I really hope that what happens in the next show that you mentioned, that it turns out well for them, because they work hard to foster the scene there,
It's literally an old train station, a real subway tile, and I don't know, it seems to work, I mean, I don't think you could build it like that anymore, but it works.
How's Woolies doing?
He has a big cornhole tournament coming up, a fundraiser for a scholarship fund for a young man who died of asthma. It's really kind of they're trying to find a way to get people together, and it'll be cornhole in the parking lot. But my son, they call him tomorrow, a restaurant called the Grand Valley Inn, and first time ever, they're doing an outdoor show. It's a disco cover band called Dancing Queen, but people love them. They play the casino circuit, and they do really well. But again, it's an example of a restaurant that has never, ever done an outdoor concert before. They're saying, you know what, people are looking for live music. Here's a chance to get some dinner reservations, book them in advance, and they're going to give it a go. All you do is put a tent in the parking lot and make the most of it. It's like a $5 cover or something. So what the heck? Yeah,
it sounds exciting. I think everybody's adapting to the situation and making them. It sounds like you said, I think a lot of these younger bands are going to find a foothold, and they'll get excited. Next thing you know, boom, you got a new scene, bunch of new musicians creating new, a whole new set of memories for people.
And everyone's wondering what's going to happen in the venues, the traditional venues. You've seen articles that have dire things like 90% of them will close. I think that's a crazy number. At some point it's going to come back, and it's going to be crazy, and it's going to be music every night. There's going to be a show, 4 nights in a row you'll be going to, 5 nights in a row. So these are lean times now for the clubs and the venues, but I think people will support them when they do come back. So it's just a matter of holding tight and doing what you can now to get through it, I think.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Once it's time, that people are it's gonna be a golden age of music when we discovered how much we missed it, or you take that stuff for granted.
Yeah, didn't the Roaring '20s follow the pandemic of 1918? So, well, the Roaring '20s all over.
We're gonna have the Roaring '20s when it's Hey, tell everybody about your video log you do.
Every Wednesday now. We call it Get Out This Weekend. The idea is to find something that's not the traditional stuff. It could be, a beer tasting, a horse riding event, kayaking thing, just not the normal stuff. And it's doing pretty well. People log on and they know to find out, I didn't know about this. And I get a lot from the restaurants and venues and parks and stages events saying, thank you. This is a way to get it out there. So we do it on YouTube like you're doing, and just a way to kind of spotlight some things that maybe you didn't know about that are just 10-minute drive away, and something to do on a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, I really enjoy it because also it helps us out of towners who are from Beaver County keep up to speed on everything.
Oh,
You know,
I mentioned you in my column Sunday. I did a thing a couple weeks ago about a popular club, Maury's Speakeasy in Rochester, and boy, that got tons of feedback. This is a place that was the hotbed in the 70s and 80s, and Wild
Sure.
Cherries and Jaggers, all these great groups. And I shared what you told me, that your band, the Leonards, played there in '93, and when you're barnstorming the country, and people, like you said, who don't live in the valley anymore, just love that article. It brought back memories. That was the place they grew up. That's the place they saw shows when they were 18, 20 years old. So yeah, there'll be a little shout out to you in Sunday's column. But I hear what you're saying. People do like to talk about, reminisce about those old days, and
yeah.
I'm glad I'm able to provide that outlet.
Yeah, I think especially when you're further away you are from home, because you guys are busy living in the moment, and for us, we see, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder and stuff. So you remember that tie, it's our connection, I guess. I always say when I come home, I'm like Rumpelstiltskin because I'm calling things by their old name.
That's you're a Beaver Valley person when you cross the toll bridge in Rochester. It hasn't been a toll bridge since like 1958 or something.
Yeah.
You turn left to Winkies. Winkies closed in 1979, but people still use the old landmarks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of those guys, So chatting with my friend, he's in charge of the Electric Banana website.
Oh, yeah.
And he his son is in Code Orange.
Oh,
and
wow.
So tell me a
They're
little.
blowing up. Whoa.
Yeah. So tell me a little about what they're doing live with their broadcasts. I don't know what medium they use, but they do live. Like I know they did one at the Roxy Theater.
Is it Stitch? Is that what it's called? Stitch?
Stitch. Yeah, Stitch. Yeah. Twitch.
It's like the new Vivo, the new YouTube or whatever, but it got national coverage. They filmed it like it was a regular concert. They had multi-cameras. They were supposed to do their album release that night, and there's been such a buzz about this album. Every major music magazine has been praises of this is maybe the best hard rock album so far of this young decade, but it's an album that's going to get a Grammy nomination. I guarantee it's an album people are talking about. They had the big album release party set, and then it was COVID. They had to cancel the show. They said, you know what? We're going to film it at the same venue. We're going to give the same performance, the same lighting, the same sound we would have.
Yeah.
They put it on the web, and it went gangbusters. Thousands and thousands of people watching it. Again, every major music magazine were writing about it, saying you got to watch it. So they found a way to make lemonade out of lemon. And yeah, that band Code Orange, yeah, you'll be hearing so much about it. It's intense music. Is it metal kind of? Is it hardcore? It's got punk elements, but it's music for our times. These are kind of frustrating, angry times, and there's times you need to kind of vent, release yourself from that. Their music is a release of that. They're a bunch of kids from Pittsburgh Kappa School, the Creative Arts Performing Arts Center.
Right.
And the upside for them is enormous. They already got nominated for a Grammy Award when they were 22 or something like that. But you'll be hearing so much more about Code Orange for sure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how they took advantage, utilized that Twitch or
Twitch. Yeah,
Twitch.
I call it Twitch.
Twitch, yeah. How they utilized that and made it like the saying. My dad always used to say, whatever whatever hand you're dealt with, make it work.
Yeah.
And I really dig
they can't use TikTok anymore.
Yeah, TikTok's gone. I don't even know what that. I keep seeing it. I have to get hip. But they
Never
really
got it. TikTok was just people dancing around, and there was no live music.
Oh, no live. Yeah, there you go.
People doing 12 seconds of dance moves.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't my bag, but whatever.
So now with your 25 plus years, when you got into the Times, tell me again, you were like the beat reporter.
Yeah. I worked for a few years in Wheeling, West Virginia, and I was a news reporter. But every week they let me write a rock and roll column, so I got to interview some rock stars and review some shows. But when I joined Beaver County Times, it was hard news. It was city government. It was school boards. But this is always what I wanted to do. I just had to bide my time for a few years, and the opening came. I leaped at it and got it. And since '97, I've covered the Pittsburgh show I wanted to cover. Basically, a couple I kind of kicking myself I missed, but it's been a lot of fun.
Well, who are some of the highlights? Some of your highlight interviews you've had over the years?
Interviews, and Billy Corgan's one that comes to mind right away from Smashing Pumpkins. I was intimidated. He's kind of a serious. You don't want to ask the dumb question to Billy Corgan. And the
Yeah.
first few questions, something loosened him up. I started asking stuff, and he knew I did my homework, and we had this like 45-minute chat that was all over the place and wonderful. Peter Wolf was another one, Jay Giles' band.
Yeah.
And and he's a talker. After the interview was done, maybe half hour, 40-minute interview, my phone rings again. Phone. It was his manager. He said, "You know what? Peter had such a good time with you. He wants you on his tour bus." He was touring with Bob Seger. He said, "Here's the number. Call me. He wants to meet you backstage and see who he interviewed." And we did that. And it was so cool to be on Peter Wolf's tour bus.
Wow.
But, I'm sure it wasn't the same as it was in 1979 or whatever. But there was more food than Coke. But it was pretty cool. So. I got to interview Shane McGowan of the Pogues.
Wow.
He's a legendary, he's a party guy. The interview he was in Belfast, so it'd be like 8:30 in the morning. He was just getting home from a night of drinking at 8:30 in the morning. And he was in the bag, and the interview went from some funny, nice, and all of a sudden he started getting belligerent and mad, and asked him about Kirsty McCool, who he, of course, did that debut song on. She had died a couple years before. He was like, "What do you want me to say about it?" And he got real mad, and then he's, "Where are you from again?" I mentioned Western Pennsylvania. He goes, "Oh, wait, Rolling Rock. That's where Rolling Rock's from." And he associated us with the beer. And but it was fun, and it was scary, and it was. I wish I tape recorded that one. I would love to play that for people to hear.
Yeah.
People ask me who was the worst, and without a shadow of doubt, Lou Reed was an absolute jerk to me. Complete. His manager was in the corner, like hiding his face, like he was so embarrassed for how Lou was. And Lou had an art exhibit. He took some photos in New York, and he went to the Andy Warhol Museum. So I get it. He wants to talk about that. I got there early. I did my homework. I studied these pictures and paintings he did, whatever. And I came in loaded with some questions about his new current project. He's right off the bat. He starts giving me one-word, two-word answer. Yeah, right. Just being I mean, I can see if I led with, what was Sweet Jane about? But no, he just never gave me the chance. So, I caught a guy. I still love his music, but he was a jerk.
He was, yeah.
I've talked to some other music critics over the years, and they say, "Oh yeah, if you were to make a list of the biggest jerks, he would probably be top 5."
So. What's your like as far as modern venues now? I know like the Roxy, of course, they did a lot of work to rebuild. I was following that online because my mom used to go there as a kid. They'd throw popcorn down at the people down below back in the day. So any other venues? Well, I know it's kind of a rugged time, but prior to what was going on, did you hear any other talk about any new venues coming or that are kind of on hold right now?
Well, there was an interesting one. Remember the Penguins were talking about building a 5,000 seats amphitheater right in the heart of downtown Pittsburgh. Wow. That would have been direct competition to Stage AE. Yeah. But it was going to have actual seats, reserved seats, unlike Stage AE, which 90% of which is general admission. So interesting idea. Going to redo where the old Civic Arena used to be. Everything seemed to go, but something fell through, and now that's very much, even before COVID, that seems to be very much in hiatus now. I'm wondering what the shakeout is there. Somebody didn't come through with some kind of plan or whatever. But that would have been a 5,000 seat amphitheater right downtown. So other venues would have felt the pinch of that, but it seems to be off the books, at least for the moment.
What's going on down in the Strip District? I've been catching bits and pieces. Is that being remodeled? What's happening?
Oh, it'll break your heart. You drive through there now, Nick. If you remember where Metropole used to be, and Rosebud, and all the great shows you saw there back in the day. Yeah. I guess they're doing residential, they're doing office spaces, and it looks, it looks like what you expect from a redeveloped area, but it doesn't have the heart of the grits.
Nah.
It doesn't have a music scene. This is going to be a place where there'll be Pan-Asian restaurants and hipsters antiquing, and I like that little strip where you had Paul Rosebud. So many great bands played there, and back in the day there was the dance clubs across the street, Donzi's and those places. If you were looking to for top 40, that was a place to go. And the Strip District, it's kind of scattered. People don't really go there for entertainment as much as they used to.
Right, because I know when the band rolls into town, we always park down the Strip District, walk around, hit Primanti Brothers. Usually when our flight gets in, we're in kind of early, so it gives us time to kind of just acclimate, beat the traffic going into town from the airport, and kind of relax a little, get some city, and then head back up to home. But but as far as like the other venue or the stores and so forth on the street behind, what's the street there? I forget where all the.
That's Penn Avenue.
Penn Avenue.
The touristy stuff. If you want to buy a T-shirt, Yinzer shirt or something, then there's like seafood restaurants. There's still things happening there.
Yeah.
But music-wise, that used to be the site of Altar Bar, which was an old church turned into a concert site, and that went back to being a church. And so there's just not a strong music draw. There used to be Savoy Club that used to show jazz, and I guess they still did until recently, but of course no one's doing that now. And Pittsburgh Winery was there. They used to have a great singer-songwriter kind of place there. I saw a couple of shows there. I'm trying to remember who. Grant Lee Phillips was one, and but now they've been a couple of years because of some code things, and so I can't remember last time I made a beeline to go to the Strip to see a show. You just don't do it as much as you used to.
I see from time to time, I guess, Drusky Entertainment has some stuff going on.
He's hustling with the drive-in theaters now. We're seeing a drive-in theater in Butler County. They just announced Blackberry Smoke. They have Steel Panther, which is the great 90s parody hair metal band. They've got a Marcus King band. That's a great blues rock kind of thing. I saw them a couple years ago. They're Buck Cherry, so they have bands that would normally be playing a 2,000-seat place doing a drive-in theater, and there's all kinds of rules. You're out of your car if you stay in front of your car, and it's like $150 per carload of 4, so you're still paying $70, $75, whatever like that. And I'm going to go to one. I haven't done one yet, but no, this is going to be around for a while, so I need to go check it out. Someone when I go to a show, I don't know about you, I like to be able to move around. If I don't like where I'm standing, if it's a general mission, I'll move somewhere else. Oh, the sound's better over here. Oh, these people next to me are talking all the time. I'm going to go over, you're stuck in a drive and you're stuck,
Right.
That kind of worries me.
Yeah. I noticed with the one concert that they had there, it looked like there was a screen up a viewing screen for people, or did I
think so, yeah.
A video screen or something?
Yeah. And then they're trying to do it where if you have a big camper, you're not parked in front. And they're trying to space it out. The bigger vehicles go in the back. It's a decent idea. I really hope it's just a stopgap thing, and we're not talking about this again in 2021.
Right.
The drive-in theater thing is. I don't hope it's long term.
Well, we were chatting this week, and you were mentioning that the Struts, the singer Luke is dealing with he's just trying to figure it out. And you had some good anecdotes in your art, what he was talking about.
He was a great interview. He came out and said, look, I don't want to be playing drive-in theaters. I don't want to be looking out at a sea of 700 cars. He's a guy that really interacts with the crowd.
Sure.
He's making eye contact with you. He's doing a lot of audience participation. This side of the room do this. And he does it in creative ways. I mean, everyone does that a little bit anymore, but he finds funny, amusing ways to do it. And he's like, a drive-in theater, that's just not my scene. But people are asking for it, and they can't. So they're only doing 2 drive-in shows, one in Philly outside Citizens Bank Park. So that's pretty huge. The other one's right here in Butler County, north of Pittsburgh. So after that, they do like 5 shows in Japan. So it's a rare opportunity for local Western Pennsylvania people to see a great band, the Struts.
Sure.
But, I thought it was real honest to him to say, this isn't what I really want to do, but I'm going to do it for him.
Yeah, they're one of those bands, I think, that now's the time to see. If you don't see them now, a couple years later, you're going to say, man, I missed my chance to see those guys, because they're going to pop once. I mean, they're already doing opening up right in arenas. They were.
Yeah, they opened for Foo Fighters, and I think they're just one hit away from absolutely exploding. The singer Luke, he looks like Freddie Mercury. He sings like Freddie Mercury. They're very British and flamboyant and out there. And I agree with you. Their upside is still yet to be seen.
So now also, now down in my hometown, Monaca, they're starting up their live music scenes down by the post office. The park, I forget the name of the park, but do you know a little about that? What's going
George
on?
Washington Plaza, and that starts in about 2 hours. A band called Super Midnight. Again, these are kids maybe 18 to 20 years old, but they're all musically trained at performing arts charter schools, and they really play a good brand of jazzy, bluesy kind of soul. And Monaca, you're right. They're getting into they're doing like the first Fridays every month. They're having live entertainment. Take a walk a block away. There's like 10 different restaurants you can go to, and a couple of them are brand new. And so it's a way to, again, get out, see something, get that live music, 5-minute drive home. So I think they're going to do well. I expect a big turnout today.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. I noticed on my Facebook page a couple of those restaurants. One is Jerry Summers has a barbecue place. It's doing
Well,
quite well.
Summer's coming, so it's called Summertime Fields
Summer,
or something like that.
yeah,
I didn't know that's
summertime.
where they got the name from. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then down where Celeste used to be is a Mexican restaurant that just opened up. So
Mexisoul, yeah,
yeah,
the combination of Mexican and soul food.
yeah. So people
Penn
have some.
Avenue Pub is really the place that's hopping there. They have
Oh
some very
yeah,
imaginative food. They have a little bit of outdoor dining now, and next time you're in Monaco, you got to go to the moped place. And they have a moped dealership. They fix up
really.
the 80s mopeds. They're the only place between here and Detroit that exists that does that. And
Yeah.
business is booming. I'm seeing mopeds whisking around Beaver County anymore. And
Wow.
that's 65 miles in the gallon.
Yeah. Where is that?
not?
Monaco? It's in Monaco?
The heart of Monaco, right downtown. It used to be a I want to say a bottle shop or something.
Yeah.
But the Copsack guys, they do the fireworks shows every year in Beaver County. The Beaver County Booms, great guys, and Monaco's really doing well. It's on the upsurge. Ever since they elected you to the Monaco Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah. Things are booming. I also like to keep in touch with some of the folks that run the Hall of Fame as well, and they're Marlene McLean she does great work. Jim Blenerick, of course, and for the city and everyone there, really doing great work, making the downtown prosper, and a lot of the other cities. It's fun keeping up the speed on what's going on now. I know, like you and I, when I come home, we usually meet in downtown Beaver. It's a Starbucks, little Irish coffee, Yeah. Anything good happen? Any other new venues or not venues, food places or anything else in that area that you or anywhere actually that you think anyone should know about?
Beaver County, well, yeah, they keep popping up. Of course, we finally got our first Permane brothers back in March, and
yeah,
they've been doing really well. They have the garage door thing. They open it up. You feel like you're outdoor, although you're under a roof.
Oh yeah,
so,
wow.
I've been writing more and more about restaurants, and I'm finding there's a lot of stories there. A lot of people are trying imaginative things, creative things. There's definitely more diversity in Beaver County menus now. It's not just fish fries and barbecue. There's a place in New Brighton called Quality Time. They have a lot of vegetarian stuff. They have the gluten-free stuff, but then they have comfort food, mac and cheese, whatever. So but people are willing to take some risks now, and I think it's paying off.
I see mainly through your articles, and like you said, you're talking about food places, and you're writing a lot about food. I know that's like Ambridge. A lot of fun things, just all over the place.
New craft brewery in Ambridge just opened up March and April. So we now have 3 craft breweries, which is interesting.
And you were part of an article. I didn't get to read it yet, but or is it coming out where you're talking about diversity in the craft brewery business, or what was going on with that article?
I was part of a USA Today network. My paper is owned by USA Today, Gannett, and we did a story, me and about 4 other reporters, exploring the lack of diversity in the craft beer industry. It's only 1% of craft breweries are Black owned. Right in Pittsburgh, there is a festival called Fresh Fest, which champions the Black breweries in the country. There are 65 they've counted so far.
Oh, okay.
And they had this big event this weekend. It had to go digital. If it wasn't for COVID, there'd be 2,000 people in the streets this Saturday drinking craft beer. And I went to the very first one on the Pittsburgh's North Side, though, and it was one of the best events I've been to. Just lively music and great beer and great company, and everyone laughing and having a good time. And but the guy who runs this is a Beaver resident named Dave Bracey. He's really in tune with it. He has a podcast called Drinking Partners, and he's been interviewed by national magazines. He's been on national TV. He's kind of an expert on diversity in beer, and happens to be a friend of mine. And so we ran this story that I think 10 or so papers are going to be running this weekend from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland.
Oh, right.
And, kind of shedding a light on this, that there needs to be more diversity. And he goes into very detailed why that is the case. And some of it's marketing. A lot of the places, Black neighborhoods were being marketed back in the day by like malt liquor. That was kind of like their audience. And a lot of it's just, as he says, systemic racism and banks not giving a chance to a Black person wanting to open a craft brewery. So it's a really fascinating story. It's online right now. If you Google it, you'll come up with it. It's a really good read.
But it's on USA.
Not because I wrote it. It's a good read because of the quotes he gave me.
Yeah.
They're so in depth and so
and it's on USA.
If you Google Gannett diversity, because they might have it on their website.
Right.
But at least 10 or so of their newspapers that are owned by them are going to run it. So It's a
Yeah.
start.
Okay, cool. I'll find it and post a link on the on underneath so everyone can find that. What else as far as like Brighton Music? What's going on there? I noticed they did a whole rebuild. The Brighton Music used to do live, really good. Right when the pandemics or the
Right.
hit, they were doing these cool videos discussing just everything to do with their how their business is going to survive, contacting their horn distributors. It was an interesting broadcast. So Richard does great work there. What's going on there? They're building stages inside?
You were right. Right before the pandemic, they were just getting ready to start a music series. I guess that got curtailed, but I'm sure they're ready to reload and do that when it's safe to do it, time to do it.
Yeah.
Another one that comes to mind, David Granati's music studio called For Those About to Rock Academy
Yeah.
in Ambridge, and they're learning from a master, David Granati, and they're playing
Sure.
classic rock songs. Though it's like
Yeah.
18-year-old kids learning to play Thin Lizzy and Queen and Yes and stuff. And but they play everywhere. They play throughout the Pittsburgh area, and now they have an adult version. So someone like me, a long-time frustrated guitarist, can now join. I can start playing Smoke on the Water in public or something. But,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
It all comes from the Jack Black movie, School of Rock. They saw that movie, and it's like, well, yeah, why couldn't you do that and do it seriously and teach kids how to play rock and roll and have fun? But they're also learning they're learning how to book a show, how to deal with management, and it's learning the business as well.
Right. I noticed also down along the Beaver River, there's Spanky D's.
Yeah.
And I remember reading like the Grenadis would play at Mario's and various bands, and the Riverside Tavern. Is that Riverside?
Kelly's Riverside. You could bar hop without moving your car. Just park right there and check them out. And a lot of boats there, and the boat scene's really hopping this year. I think that's part of the staycation thing. I wish they would target a little bit more and try to get like Pittsburgh Magazine to write a story about it or someone like that. Or, we write about it, but I'd like to get a broader audience.
Yeah, that scene could really, once the bands are back playing, that scene could really bust wide open right there. You could have a lot of bands playing, and like you said, people just walk to the next park somewhere, and they got their whole night. Three venues, three different bands going. That's some interesting. Incredible potential there, but they already are doing it. But if, like you said, if Pittsburgh would write about it a little, maybe that would create a bigger buzz, I guess.
Yeah, all the rivers we don't have as much river access for restaurants as you would think.
Right.
Talking about Pittsburgh, a lot of the cases there's train tracks or barges or that kind of thing. But we're kind of lucky in Beaver County with that.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that the work you do, telling people what's going on, especially like through Facebook as well, because some people, I don't know, they may not read the papers. I don't know. Everybody's different. Some people just rely on Facebook. So on your Twitter and what's going on with your Times Online account, and just a great way to keep people up to speed, especially now to get out and do stuff. People are cooped up and they just want to be able to do just something.
Makes it a challenge. One thing I've learned with Facebook, you got to hit people over the head right away. You got to find a cute thing, a little sentence to get people to click on it and comment on it. I comment. You'll see every time I post something, I'll do my own comment first. I think I figured out if you get a couple quick comments, then it goes way up in everyone else's feed. If you post something and 3 minutes go by, no one comments, it seems to drop like a rock. So there's a reason I always comment on my own post, and I try to say something that'll stir someone else up to make them comment. And once you do that, then it shows up in everyone's feed, and then you'll get dozens and dozens of likes and comments. But it's an art. I don't know if art's the right word. It's a pain in the neck sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
I'm learning. Yeah.
Clickbait. Clickbait. That's what I got to learn how to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Also getting back, I know down in Beaver, a childhood friend, his nephew started up as a cafe Kalacha. How do you say that?
Kalacha, yeah.
Yeah, Kalacha. Cool. So I went by it one time. I didn't have time to stop. It looked pretty packed, so that was cool.
We'll have to have our Irish coffee outside there maybe next
Yeah,
time.
Exactly. Yeah. Any other fun things going on or things that to make people aware of that you may think, you know, just something fun that's going on that or something coming up that you want to tell us about?
We talked a bit about beer earlier, but this weekend, our Beaver County's very first brewery, Beaver Brewing, is having its 10th anniversary. And I'm so proud of those guys. I was there. I was one of the very first customers, and this guy was literally pouring beer out of a warehouse in Patterson Township. We would show up with growlers, and every Friday, like at 5 p.m., there'd be like 10 guys waiting to carry his own jugs of beer. It was as ground level as can be. They're celebrating 10 years. He moved to downtown Beaver Falls. At the time, people said, "You're crazy. Why are you moving there? Beaver Falls, it's got a reputation." But he said, "No, I'm going to make this work." And 10 years later, he's proven it. So they're having a big thing this weekend. And but even if you're watching this after that, check this place out. They very creative. They do a lot with oak barrels. They'll get like barrels with bourbon in them, and they'll brew their beer in that. And it's just a whole other thing. And so I'm really seeing a creativity in the beer making industry in Beaver County. And you know, until the conscience get back up to speed, that's one way to kind of support local and appreciate a whole other kind of art.
Right. Well, that's cool. Well, Scott, I want to thank you for having an interview with me. So tell them once again where they can find you on just time. Is it Times Online or your websites?
TimesOnline.com. I've had a Sunday column. I've only missed one Sunday in the past 23 years. So just look for it on Sunday. I share it on Facebook. You know, we'll do a little link on your video here. Maybe follow me on Facebook. You see the articles there. But if you ever have a story idea, anything about, especially Beaver County, Pittsburgh area, hit me up. If you want to tell me, hey, my nephew, he grew up in Aliquippa, now he's on a TV show, whatever, let me know. I'd love to write about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then also your video log, tell everyone about that one more time.
Go Get Out this weekend. That runs every Wednesday at noon. And again, I share that on Twitter and Facebook. And so yeah, hit me up on social media. I got to get my numbers up. People are looking at the numbers. You know what I mean? I don't want to be living in a van down by the river. So I need Twitter followers. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll post your Twitter account and your Facebook and of course all the other links for your web presence. And we'll keep. So what's your big article that coming up this weekend?
I write about the outdoor show, the first they've ever done at the Grand Valley Inn in Falston, and why they decided. Oh, and I write about a 15-year-old singer from, she goes to Lincoln Park Performing Arts School in Midland, and she's already got 2 singles. She's going to be on WYEP radio. It seems like every week now I'm writing about a teenager who's already writing their own songs.
Wow.
I'm kind of excited. I'm bullish on the future because not only do we have young people performing and singing, they're writing their own material now at an early age, and I think that bodes well.
Wow.
Gabrielle Salvucci. That's a good name.
Gabrielle Salvucci. Okay.
Yeah, you got to talk with your hands when you say that.
Yeah. That's like my buddy Tony Valentino from the Standells. He was remember he's talking about Italy. Oh, he's had some great stories. So
you did a magnificent job interviewing him, drawing him out. And,
that's fun. We had a blast. Well, hey, Scott, that's cool, man. I will post all that information for you. Once again, everybody, this is Scott Tady, entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times, timesonline.com. Follow him on Facebook, friend him online, and he's got some great stories. So everyone from out of town, it's from Beaver County. And if you're not from Beaver County, you're an upcoming band and you want to find out more about him, Scott's the guy you talk to, and he'll square you away.
Appreciate that. It felt good to be on the other end of the questions for once.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, same here, you know. Well, everybody, this is Rock Talk with Nick Z, episode 3 with my friend Scott Tady. I want to thank Scott again, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Keep up the great work, Nick.
Thanks, you too, buddy.
All right.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.